Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Flat Tire Dan, good to see everybody. So I mentioned in our last episode that I had some stuff coming up that might keep me away from meeting up with you guys here for a little bit. This is one of them. I had some minor knee surgery yesterday. Should only keep me off my feet a few days, but kind of old man need to do when you push your body too hard stuff. So I had that yesterday, but I've been kind of limping around for a few weeks, so we haven't been hiking or anything like that. But hopefully I'm all fixed up now. We'll know shortly. You saw on the last episode, let's talk about the last episode here for a minute. I'm getting a lot of questions from people that have seen the 6-liter 2006 that I talked about in depth in the last episode at auction. What happened? What's going on? Why is your truck at auction? Check out that last episode. I go into depth about exactly what happened, the accident, and how we ended up kind of where we're at. And in the last episode, I also showed you a glimpse of the title of this episode, which would be our new to us 2017 Ford F350 6.7 liter Gen 2 motor diesel dually. Newest addition to the fleet. More out of necessity than out of want, to be honest. My intention was to keep that 06 for probably another 4 or 5 years and enjoy it. Really enjoy the vintage nature of it. Continue to restore it and just have a great time with it. And then 4 or 5 years, upgrade to something like we have now for what I hope to be eventual retirement, full-time RV. Need something newer, low mileage, very dependable, right? Excuse me, which I think is what we have now. So 2017 F350 Gen 2 motor, which I like. So the 6.7 came out, I think, 2011, and they worked through some of the bugs. And from what I've read, the Gen 2 motor is remarkably reliable and durable. So I like that. Now, it's an XLT model, base model. You'll see that. And initially, I was kind of hesitant until I went to see it and saw just how ridiculously clean the truck was. Low mileage, one owner, 32,000 miles when I bought it for an 8-year-old truck, right? But as I got a chance to kind of get a feel for the truck, you know, and what I'm talking about is like some of the Lariat models and stuff. You get the panoramic moon roof, you get heated seats, you get heated steering wheels, like all stuff that I really enjoy. I have in my F-150 that I thought I might miss or that I was sort of on the fence about. And to tell you the truth, with my long-term goals for this truck, I think I'm more and more liking the simplicity of the truck. Like less things to break, right? Everything works great. The Bluetooth connects to my phone, which connects to my music, so that's all settled. You can always upgrade, you know, the touch screen stuff or whatever if you want. A couple upgrades I am going to do pretty soon. First would be a remote start. Definitely want to have that installed soon. And then I want to work on the suspension a little bit. Being an F350, it's not the most comfortable ride, and I know I'll never get that. But I'm going to look at shock options and things like that. So if you have any ideas, please drop them in the comments. What the truck did come with, and I have the original window sticker, which I really like. Again, one owner, is stuff that I would have ordered the truck. It appears this guy ordered the truck for him. For his business, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But he ordered it with 410 gears, with the tow package, with the plow package, dual alternators. Like all the stuff that I would want if I were to order a truck brand new that aren't necessarily like comfort things, but more work things that I like. This truck has. So that's eventually what kind of sold me on it and how ridiculously clean and low mileage the truck was, being 8 years old. So anyway, maybe 4 or 5 years sooner than we thought, we went ahead and bit the bullet. So let's take a walk around. I'll kind of show you some stuff that I've done since I had it, some kind of stuff that it came with. I'll talk to you. The truck appeared to be mostly a work truck. Plowing, and you saw a picture in the beginning here of all the plow stuff that came off the truck, right? And I know plowing has a tendency to beat up vehicles, but I looked at it thoroughly. I had Dan's Diesel Automotive look at it when he removed all the plow stuff for me. Everything seems to be good. And so he used it for plowing, and he used it to tow some type of gooseneck trailer, which I don't hate, because eventually I'm going to move to a fifth wheel or a gooseneck RV, so it's already set up for all that. But again, you'll see that when we walk around. So let's take a walk around. I'm going to grab my GoPro. I got a question on Instagram, flat_tire_Dan, and you can also find us on Facebook under Flat Tire Dan. Do I mount my GoPro to me when I do things? No. I have this handy floatable waterproof handle thing I use with this carabiner on it that connects to my backpack when I'm hiking. Most of my GoPro stuff I'm doing with this in my hand. I find that the body mounts, the camera's constantly moving, so I like this setup better. So I think that's a question I got a couple weeks ago on Instagram, and keep them coming. All right, let's go outside and take a look. Okay, so again, here's all the plow stuff that got removed. Here's all the hardware, big giant bolts through the frame. I actually removed the hardware myself. I didn't have Dan do this. What a pain in the butt that was. There's the old valance that they cut a big hole in. And then look at the amount of wiring that goes on with one of these plows. I mean, there's miles of it. It was everywhere. Like, I thought about trying to remove this stuff myself, and when I saw it and how it was just like tied into everything, I knew that I needed professional help. Fortunately, one of the guys that works for Dan's installs plow stuff as like a side job, and so he knew exactly what to take out, how to get it out quick and easy. So that's all gone. Everything plow is removed from this truck, never to be seen again. There it is. Blue Jeans is the name of the color. It's the first truck I've ever owned that hasn't been gray or black or gray and black. So that was a bit of a stretch, but I'll tell you what, I love it. Like, I think it's a great color. It's kind of blue-gray, right? But it's a great color. You don't see a lot of them, and it cleaned up really nice. It still needs some like of my little special touch buffing and things, but you can see I replaced the valance. Found that on eBay, actually. Pretty good deal. I put a little John Deere license plate on it. It's a little dirty. It's been sitting out in the rain for a few days. I haven't been able to wash it with my knee. Guy replaced the tires at like 20,000 miles. Not sure why, but it's got the same tires my my old truck on it, the Goodyear Wranglers on it, and they're basically brand new, which is nice. And with the 6,000–7,000 miles a year I put on this truck, it'll be some time before I have to put new tires on it. XLT model. It's got the tow mirrors. They just have to be manually pulled out. No power mirrors and stuff like that, which is some of that creature comfort stuff. But like, look how clean. Like, it's immaculate. I mean, when I'm driving around in this truck, it feels like I bought a brand new truck, but I didn't. I bought a truck that was 8 years old and 30,000 miles. Sticker price on this truck was about 65 grand, and I paid 43, for those of you who are curious. So I got a pretty good deal on it, although still not cheap, but you get what you pay for. But again, just immaculately clean, right? And the simplicity of the dash and everything is kind of cool. Like, I can always upgrade to a full screen and stuff, but I kind of like it the way that it is. I put my go-to CB radio like I have in all my trucks. This is diesel exhaust fluid. Got some looking into, but I hear the Gen 2 motors are much more reliable with that type of stuff. It's got the fold-up bed cover, and this will actually fold up against the glass as well, which will allow me to get to my toolbox. So when I bought the truck, it had a bed cover on it, but not one that folded all the way up like that. And so I found this cover on Facebook Marketplace. I went and bought it, and then I sold the cover that came with the truck for the same exact price I paid for this. So it was like a nice even swap all through Facebook Marketplace. Very handy. So there's our Tractor Supply toolbox, and I've got that piece of wood in front of it because I lean in like plywood in my kayaks and stuff, so I don't want it to get all banged up. There's the gooseneck setup. Came with the wiring for it. So at some point, whether I go with fifth wheel or gooseneck, I've got the foundation to do all that, which is nice. Again, just like remarkably clean. Like, I feel really fortunate that I was able to find a truck that I could afford, right? I didn't have a $70,000 budget that I could afford, that hopefully, I mean, depending on the mileage and who knows what life's going to throw at me, but hopefully, like, this might be the last truck I ever buy, you know? Put another 40 or 50,000 miles on it between now and when I retire, which will take me to like 80 or 90,000 miles. And then, I don't know, these trucks well maintained go 200-300. So, you know, we'll see. I'd like to pay it off and be done. Let's start it up for you, for those of you who haven't. These are much quieter than the 6-liter that you experienced before. Pop the hood for you. But everything's solid, nothing rattles. I undercoated the whole truck with like a CRC product, even though there really wasn't any rust or anything to speak of. Aluminum body, which I like. So as far as body concerns, there's no rust. Really clean under the hood still. You know, and the light works, and just, I don't know. I didn't think I was ready financially or whatever to own a truck like this. And it just kind of fell out of the sky, right? So I'll take it. I'm gonna take good care of it, and Triton and I are gonna continue our adventures, and should have no problem pulling that baby, which definitely needs a bath. But there it is, new to us. 2017 F350 XLT, 6.7 liter diesel dually. Thanks everybody. We're going to be back around a little more often now as I heal up. And like I mentioned before, we're going camping over Easter weekend. We're going to bring you along there as well. So have a great weekend. If you're in Pennsylvania or near to us, it's sunny and 80. We'll see you on the next one.